What a game that Swansea game was. Welcome back to Where Whites Walk. We're reviewing that Swansea game. We're talking about how good is Dan James, the decision to drop Noto, Tanaka's brilliance, and Leeds were called boring in the week. Not anymore. We still got our faith in Farker, and January transfer windows coming up. We're talking about out-of-contract players and the FA Cup third-round draw. Could Leeds care less about it? We are joined this week by Freddie, of course, and making his debut on here is Jacob. Welcome, Jacob. How are you?
Yeah, thank you very much. All good, Mark.
Pleasure. Have you calmed down yet from Swansea?
Just about, yeah. God, what a roller coaster, especially that last minute. I mean, yeah, it's just amazing, to be honest. Yeah, great to be top of the league.
Absolutely. We'll come on to that in a minute. Freddie, and we'll start with the boring comment then, first of all, because there's been some media, not Leeds fans, but some media calling Leeds boring, dull, predictable. Are you having any of that?
Well, depends what day you ask me on. If we won, and I'll say we're not. And in days like today, we were perfect. And it was good viewer for the neutral. But I feel like that can be true. And we've seen it with games where we go 1-0 down. It's passing around the side, backwards. You know, no real urge to go forward. But I can see why people say that, to be honest.
Okay, well, you're certainly not boring today, hey, Jacob. But not sure about perfect. Defensively, a bit all over the place today. There's a reason for that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I do feel like this year with Rodon, I don't think he's been up to his best. I think Struijk is still doing very well at the back, holding it down. Bogle was good, but I'm not sold on Sam Byram at all. I think he's a bit of a liability on the left. Rodon, still want to see a bit more from him, but you know, it's one of those games where it was open, so anything could have happened really. But I think the defense is fine.
Okay, Jacob, let's put some praise on Dan James's name, shall we? BGWX says Dan James was a star player again. Andrew says we're way too sloppy at times, which should have been much easier, but we'll take the 3 points. And of course, we are top of the league. I mean, just how good is Dan James? Is he having his best season with you so far?
Oh, he's brilliant. Definitely, it's definitely up there. Like you see for that first goal, how Struijk's played him in, that run he makes. It's just his pace is just unbelievable. Obviously, there's assists today as well for Manuel Solomon, and then obviously the own goal and the one for Nonso right at the end. It's just great to see, you know, and obviously his goal scoring ability as well early on in the season. Even last season, you know, he contributed quite a few goals. Obviously, unfortunately didn't get us anywhere, but yeah, he's such a great guy. Really happy for him that he's found his feet. Obviously, after that, the move fell through, that whole transfer saga with Swansea and Man United and everything. So yeah, it's been great.
Is he? I can't weigh up, Jacob, whether he's a Premier League player or whether he's a Championship standard player. Because we've seen him in both, and what if there was a league in between, he'd be perfect, wouldn't he? But where does he weigh for you?
It's a tough one. I don't think he's really had a proper run of games with Leeds or with Man United in the Premier League to really prove himself at that level. Obviously, the season where we stayed up on the last day contributed a fair bit, but was sort of in the shadows with Rafinha and things like that. And then obviously that season when we did go down, he was loaned out to Fulham. But yeah, like you said, kind of in between. But definitely, if we got this season, you know, I'd take him up there, 100%. Him, Gnonto, you know, even Ramazani. Ramazani's looking a real threat so far. Real good signing.
Yeah, what a signing! Yeah. Okay, another player, and we talk about him every week on here, but we're going to do it again. And I love this tweet from Oliver.
I've seen this.
This is a great one. Statue for Tanaka. He is, for me so far, Freddie, the Championship player of the season. But he doesn't get the headlines because, of course, he doesn't weigh in with the goals. But just how important a player is he for Leeds?
He's so important. We all thought when Ampadu got injured and Grueff that there'd be a big hole there to fill in. And I think he's come in and just picked up where Ampadu was, picked up it so easily. And he looked so calm on the ball. I think he was 3.5 million and he looks like a 35 million player. I'm so happy with him. And he does bring an element of calmness to that midfield, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Just before the game, though, Jacob, there were some people saying, I don't understand why we're dropping Noto. Great to see Lagi back. Noto's been poor lately. Granted, on his day, he's our best player, but I think it's a great shout to drop him and send the right message. When you saw Noto wasn't starting. Did you? Which view were you on? Did you think it was a mistake, or did you understand his decision making?
I was a bit surprised because I think he's been really good this season, really consistent. He contributes quite a lot. Very good, but obviously very good in that attack. But he was on international duty in the week with Italy under 21. So I feel obviously with the running, like we got Luton on Wednesday. Obviously going into this Christmas period now, we've got the depth for that rotation with Manuel Solomon, and you saw today he's got 2 goals. So, but yeah, I was a little bit shocked to see he was dropped, but it paid off in the end with Solomon and obviously Dan James as well. So, yeah.
All right, let's show you the graphic then that you've all been wanting to see for.
Well, it's close
for some time, Freddie. How does that feel, Freddie? Looking at that now,
it's early days. Obviously, it's nice to see yourself at the top, but Sunderland are a constant threat. They're giving me Ipswich vibes from last season. Sheffield United will be up there, although they have just lost Arblaster, I believe, for the season. Burnley under Scott Parker will always be a threat. And but yeah, no, it's good viewing at the moment. It's just too early to tell. We saw last season we were in and around that area. We've just got to build a run now, get some momentum, and stay in the top 2 at least for as long as we can.
Jacob, do you think the 3 that are going to go up are on the screen now?
Yeah, 100%. I think it'll be. I've got about Leeds. I've got about Leeds. Sheffield United are looking strong as well. And like obviously Sunderland, like Freddie said, like Ipswich kind of vibes. And obviously, I'm sure you did as well, Freddie, that Ipswich would fall off, but they somehow just going and going. So Sunderland maybe could be up there. They're looking good defensively. They're winning games. Even if it's not the most pretty. Like you saw against us, that silly point that they should never have got. But yeah, I definitely think us, Sheffield United, and I'll give it to Burnley at the moment just because of the Premier League quality that they've got in their squad.
Okay. Yeah, we certainly don't want you being in the playoffs, do we? Because we know what happens when Leeds go to Wembley.
Yeah,
that doesn't end well. All right, then. Of course, we're recording this before the midweek games against Luton, but obviously we're going to talk about the fixtures. The fixtures now. Let's have a look at how Leeds shape up over Christmas and get your views on all of this. 8 games, fellas, in the space of 30 odd games, including a weird double header against Derby County. The way that the fixtures are falling, you play them twice in the space of 3 weeks. But I'm really looking forward to that Middlesbrough game. I've got to tell you on coming up in a couple of weeks. But other than that, there's nothing on there that I look at that's imminently scary, is there, Freddie?
Well, it shouldn't be, but it's Leeds, isn't it? No, I don't mind the look of those fixtures. Luton at home, that'll be tricky. Even though they're down there, they've still got the Premier League players from last season. Borough at home will be difficult, but the other ones, we should really be getting 3 points from all of them. So yeah, I'm not too stressed about that, but you never know.
Yeah, you've already played them in the Carabao Cup, haven't you, at home? And that didn't go well. And I seem to remember you going to Stoke last year and Patrick Bamford missing a penalty, and then they won. So it's never a given. But I mean, Jacob, you must look at those 8 fixtures and go, yeah, as a run goes, this isn't bad. We can actually put some distance.
Yeah. Well, we need to. The home games are so vital. Like you look at the away fixtures as well. Blackburn are sort of up there this season, and they're a decent side. The one for me that kind of scares me, which might not scare Freddie, is Preston after last season, and we didn't even win there with Bielsa. I think it was 1-1. I think Eddie and Nketiah scored, so that's always used to be quite tough. And like you said, with the Stoke thing with Bamford last season, that'll be tough as well. But home games are going to be really important in this Christmas run, and I think we'll win all our home games. To be fair, we look really strong there. So let's see how it pans out.
How do you view this weird thing where you have this Derby County double header? It's the same with Blackburn, actually. You've got Blackburn in space of a month. You play them twice. Do you think there's an advantage or disadvantage having a team that you play twice in 3 weeks rather than it spread out over the season, Freddie, or does it not matter? Because Derby fans will be saying, well, this isn't fair.
Yeah, I'd be saying it was unfair if it was Burnley we had twice in the space of all that time. But Derby, I feel like we can brush aside. But no, I don't really think it matters. It shouldn't matter in our case, especially. I think we should be getting 6 points from those two. But yeah.
All right. Let's talk about out of contract players then. On the channel each week, then we're looking at January transfers and potential ins and outs for Leeds. Before we focus on that, though, we've got to talk about some contract discussions that should be going on around that time of year as well. Now, in comparison, Jacob, to other clubs, you haven't got that many out of contracts. Obviously, there's the loans to sort out with whether Solomon or Rothwell get permanence. But with the other 3 players on there, Firpo, Byram, and Gwaliavagoy, what do you think should happen?
It's a tough one, obviously. With like Firpo, he can be a bit hit and miss sometimes, but I actually think he's done really well this season, even last season, getting a consistent run of games. Obviously, going down, it's gonna be better for a player of his standard to get up to speed with it, because in the Premier League he was a bit off it. But I definitely think he's still got some years in him, and on the day going forward, he's a really good player. Got quite a few assists, so I would at least keep him for a year or 2. Byram, obviously, that was only meant to be an initial 1-year deal, I think it was. But yeah, the experience Sam Byram has, obviously, he's been at Leeds before as well. The experience he has, like the leadership, I definitely think that would be ideal to keep him. And Guiavogi, I haven't really. Today was the first time I'd really seen too much of him, to be fair. But he did his job well, and obviously he's another one who's experienced at a good level. So yeah, why not? Yeah, keep him, Byram and Firpo for another year.
What about the loans then, Freddie? I mean, if I'd have asked you before about Solomon, you'd have probably said no. He puts in 6 out of 10 performances, but would you want him on a permanent?
I think it's too early to tell. Obviously, I'd like to say yes after today's performance, but I haven't really seen enough of him yet to know fully if I'd like him on a permanent. I think going to Rothwell, I think I'd love to see him. If we do go up, I think he'll be a good choice because we can use him as rotation. And I think that's really good depth to have in the Premier League. And he's played for Bournemouth, obviously. But yeah, I think it's too early to tell for Solomon. Hopefully he puts in more shifts like today, and then I'll want him on a permanent.
Yeah. Rothwell was amazing last year in the Championship. And again, he's proving that, again, with you guys, Jacobs, he should get an offer.
Yeah, I agree with Freddie. I think Rothwell's him and Tanaka, their work together is so good. It is vital to the team. Rothwell's so good on the ball. He's so intelligent. Loves to get forward, and he scored a few great goals for Southampton last season. So yeah, I definitely make that permanent.
Does Ampadu get back in this side when fit for you, Jacob, or not?
That's a really tough one. With the way that Tanaka's been playing, Tanaka has to stay in that midfield for me. I don't even think Gurev gets in over Tanaka now. And Gurev was one of my favourite players last season. But I feel that that sort of defensive balance, Ampadu's defensive qualities will be a lot better than Rothwell's. And obviously Ampadu's the club captain as well, so can't really leave him out. And I'd have him in as well because I love Ethan Ampadu. So.
Good shout. Okay, before we let you both go, then the other thing that's happening in the footballing world this week, of course, is the FA Cup second round fixtures this weekend. That means the third round draw is on its way. I know that you could care less about the FA Cup as Leeds fans because you just want promotion, but play along with it if that's okay. Freddie, make the draw for us. Leeds at home or away versus
Liverpool. I'm sorry, I want us to get knocked out as quick as possible.
Okay. Liverpool away then, I take it. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Good away day.
Jacob?
Now, I was having a little look at the fixtures, and I've seen that the Bradford City is still in it. So I'd love to go to Bradford City, a lovely Yorkshire derby. That'd be great. Yeah. But in the Premier League, I think I'd like maybe not a Liverpool, Man City, maybe. Their form hasn't been too great, so you never know. You could get something there.
You might not get knocked out there. Yeah,
no, I'd like a Bradford Leeds again. That'd be tasty.
That's a good shout, actually. Yeah, I think people want a grounds they've not been to, isn't it, for the
Yeah,
FA Cup and good away day. So good shout. Right, we're manifesting Bradford versus Leeds in the third round. Okay, right. Thank you very much, you two. Drop us your comments as to what you would like happening as well. Don't forget to follow Jacob, of course, on Twitter at Jacob. I can't read that. DTN11, and of course, if you can type Freddie's numbers in, they're all there. Follow as well. We know there's loads of Leeds content you can watch, and all of it is very, very good stuff. But this is the shortest and most comprehensive stuff that you'll find. 20 minutes, listen to it on your way to work, in the car, or even having a shave. We'll see you next week, where we review all this week's games and, of course, talk more about the January transfer window. Thank you, Freddie. Thank you, Jacob. And thank you for watching.
Thank you, Mark.